Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to go over data presets. Data presets are an amazing way to quickly set up a set of presets within a hierarchy or system, such that you don't really have to think about them, and you don't have to write a bunch of variables or get a bunch of logics out. They can all be done sort of in a synchronized way. Data presets also allow you to check that all of your presets have been applied in a method that makes it sort of really easy to set up sort of state systems or complex management systems within a lot of data. They're used extensively in the new world browser, and they power much of the left-hand side menu, which allows you to select the categories in the world browser that you want to go through. We're going to use a simple example here in World and show you how it's set up, but you should use data presets wherever they're applicable to your setup. They're a lot faster than driving out a bunch of writes and handling it all manually. Let's get going. I'm going to go over here into Smooth POV and turn to the left here. We're in Desert Meeting Space by myself. You'll see credits for the world over there. The geometry is made by Mozilla Hubs. So over here, I have just a regular cube, and in front of the cube there is a set of 3 buttons which represent 3 data presets that we can go to. And so these are all done without writes. They're done with the data preset system. So if I hit blue big here, you'll see that the cube becomes larger and it becomes blue. If I hit red big, you'll see it just becomes red, and if I hit green small, you'll see it goes back to green. No writes are used in the making of this. This is entirely data presets. We're going to set up a simpler example of this to the right here, and I'll show you how it works. For this, we're going to need a developer tool. So we're going to equip that. We're going to open up the context menu and go to Create New 3D Model Box. Once we have a box created here, we're going to go ahead and inspect it. We're going to use the secondary action on our developer tooltip here to select it so that the pink box appears around it, and then we'll open up the context menu and go to Open Inspector. Once here, we're seeing the box on the left here. We can hit the up arrow here, which will create a parent. We're going to select that parent and then hit the star. We're going to then select box parent child here and rename this to material. And this is where the material for the box that we're going to change using the data preset system is going to live. The reason we're doing this is that it's easy to find the material. Often materials will end up in the asset system or somewhere else. We want it easy to find. So we're going to go to attach component, assets, materials, and then PBS metallic here. Once this is added, we can then set the box to use this material. To do that, we're going to mouse over where it says PBS metallic and grab. This will put the material in my hand like this, and then we'll select the box with my other hand, and we'll drop the box, the material into PBS metallic en route within the mesh render of the box. Now the material is linked to the box. We can go back to the material here, and we can change its color. So if we go down to albedo color here, and we drag it to pink, you'll see that the box is now pink. We'll change it back to white whilst we play. That's it for setup. You can copy this or try it with another shape, up to you. Play along at home. We're going to go ahead and select box parent again and hit star, and we're going to create our first data preset. So I'm going to name this preset. Now, data presets are comprised of essentially 2 types of components. The first is what's called a data preset component, and the second one is a data preset value. The first thing you'll need is a data preset component, so we're going to attach that. That is an attach component, data, presets, data preset. When data preset appears, you'll see that it has the traditional persistent update order and enabled properties. We'll ignore those for now, and also has an isActive property. IsActive is different in that isActive will be on if all of the entries in the data presets list are validated and set. So right now, because it has no entries, you'll see that isActive is set to true. If we add an entry to it, you'll see that it's disabled itself, and that's because it's not valid, but you can just go ahead and enable it if that happens. What I was going to show is that isActive turns off, but it looks like we'll need a data preset value to start that process. So we're going to add one. Let's get going. So we're going to go to attach component, data, presets, and then data preset value t. When this is selected, you'll need to enter the data type that you want to enter for the data preset. And so we're going to enter this as color, because we want to change the color of the cube. That's actually lowercase c, so we'll type color. I had uppercase c even though I wanted lowercase. There we go. And you'll see data preset value color. And then we're going to go ahead and set this to, let's say, nice big red here. Now we need to, on the data preset, we'll see that we have a preset value here, which I set to red. I actually need that to be fully visible, so I'll drag the transparency slider up to the top here. So now you'll see 1001. That means red, all the way red, and all the way visible. You'll see here that target field is set to null. Target field is the field which the preset value should apply to. So we're going to go to the material here by grabbing the word material and pushing primary or trigger in some empty space, which brings up a secondary inspector window. And we can go ahead and drag albedo color by grabbing it, and we can drop it into the target field here. Then we're done setting up this data preset for color. What we can then do is use this handy button here called Add All Children, and this will add all of the data presets which are in the same hierarchy as the data preset at the top here in. So now you can see that the data preset has one entry called DataPresetValue on preset, which is the DataPresetValue color here. You'll also see that it's set itself to not active, and that's because the box isn't red right now. I'm going to go ahead and hit set active, and you'll see that the box is turned red. And that's because the data preset here has been told to activate, and what it's done there is it's found the target field, which is the color on the material, and it's set it to the preset value of red. Now, because all of the entries in the data preset list here are now active, as in they're all validated, they've all been set, the isActive property has been set here. If we were to add a second data preset, so we're going to go to Data, Presets, Data Preset Value, and here we're going to use float 3 by typing in float 3. And we add that in, you'll see that it is, actually that'll be valid because we haven't set up that. So let's set up the target field here. So again, for the target field, we need to specify the target field, and for that we're going to use the box's size. So go ahead and grab the box, turn to the right and hit trigger, and then drop in the size property. So here's size, and we're going to drag that into target field. There you go. Now you'll see it's not active. And that's because the data preset is detecting that the box is red, yes, but its size isn't 000 yet. And we actually don't want it to be 000. Let's set this to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. And then we'll have to re-enable the data preset. And if we hit set active, you'll see the box is now red, but it's also half the size that it was. And again, that's because the data preset system has gone through each of these entries, and it's gone, okay, I'm going to set the box to red, and I'm going to set the box to 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. Now, why is this cool? Well, it's cool because you can actually make multiple data presets. What I've got up here, the preset slot, I'm going to hit duplicate, which is the green square here, and we'll have a second preset. On the second preset here, I'm going to set this red color here to blue. And I'm going to set the size to 1/4 of the size, so 0.25 and all of the boxes here. And now when I hit set active, you'll see that it is blue and it is 1/4 of its original size. If I go back up to our first preset here, you'll see that it is not active, but if I hit set active, the box is back to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 and red. And we haven't even done any logics here, but we can actually use logics with these. Let's go ahead and re-equip our, actually equip for the first time, our logics tip here. So here's our logics tip. And we're going to grab the data preset from the inspector here, and we're going to turn to some empty space in the inspector, in the world, and push secondary. Now you'll see that we've got the data preset in the world as the form of a logics interface, and you'll see that there's this set active property on the data preset. This is actually an impulse on the component. You'll find these sometimes in various components such as the camera and a few others, but they allow you to basically add an impulse directly to the component. So what we can do here is we can put the tip of our logics tip into the word set active, and we can pull out a ribbon and push secondary, and you'll see that we get a regular impulse. And here we can pulse it. So I'm going to go ahead and use our second data preset, that's the blue one, and hit it, and you'll see we now got blue and a 1/4 size cube. But I can go back here and hit pulse, and you'll see that the cube is now red and back to half the size. So now let me take you through what we've got set up to the left here, which is a lot more complicated, but not really. If I go ahead and inspect this button and go up to the top here, you'll see that I've got a list of presets. Blue big, red big, green small, etc. And if I go ahead and duplicate one of these and change its name, we'll say pink and long. And then we can change here the data preset color to pink. And we can change the length such that in the Z, for example, it is say 1.25. And now we can hit pink and long, and you'll see that we've now got a long cube. I actually want to change that to the X, not the Z after all. There we go, that's what I wanted. Now it's an oblong and it's pink. And the way that we're doing this is everything that I've already showed you with one small update, which is that we are using the button events node. I'll put a video tutorial of that in the description. And all the button event node is doing is it is saying when the button is pressed, trigger the data preset. So I hope that shows you how these can be used to create very complex systems. Like I said, they are used in the world browser, such that when you click one of the buttons on the left, it sets up a bunch of data presets on the world browser to show you the various categories. They're also used in the MMC voting panel, and there'll be information on how that works soon. And this video will help you out, giving you a head start in how those work. I hope this has been helpful. Do let me know if you have any questions. You'll also find this data preset demo in my public folder under tutorials, data presets, and you can play around with it. Try creating your own presets just by duplicating the blue big, red big, etc., and changing up those values. You could also try adding other values, for example, where the cube is, or how many cubes there are, or if it's active or not. You can data preset bind to any value type. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.